Hey there, Blade fans. Almost the end of the year. Got another month to go. Coming up on Thanksgiving, but I'm already thinking about knives that I have acquired this year. And I was thinking about Maxace, one of my favorite brands, offering exceptionally well made, exceptionally large in most cases, blades of exceptional materials. So we're going to show some love to these 6 that I happened to pick out. And again, most of them were introduced this year. Some are remakes of earlier models. Some were brand new models this year. Let's go to one of those, the pterosaur. This is a knife that you either love or you hate. It is a block solid knife of titanium, M390, with a really interesting tanto point with a 0-degree grind on that tanto at the very end. Massively thick, fairly heavy, and looking like something out of a sci-fi movie, you know. Interesting thing is, it's a pretty solid knife because here in the studio I have a concrete floor and it slipped out of my hand while setting up here and I got just a little bit of a scuff there. That's all it was. So knowing that it is the beast that it is, it held up pretty well. Didn't ding the blade, mainly got the handle. So, you know, I guess now it's a keeper. Big long 4-inch blade. I think it's at least 4 inches. So many of the Maxace are at least 4 inches. It's right on 4 inches. Big old fuller down the side there, kind of interesting trough, sort of a fuller. Comfortable in the hand and just big and just impressive. When you see this for the first time and you open it up, and oh yeah, it's just so smooth and drop shut, perfectly centered. Lots of blade for handle. Thumb studs, which you may or may not like. Big old honking thumb studs there. And I think you can even, oh, we're going to chance it. Middle finger flick it, I almost got it. Not going to bother again, simply because for me there's no value. It's all acrobatics. I'm not a high wire performer, sorry. That's the pterosaur. Let's put him back, take better care of him, not drop him again. Here is another extremely high-end knife, the Corvus III, that came in a few different variations. This variation had had handles of and I know I'm going to forget the name, so I'm going to have to look that up. Zirconium. Why can't I remember zirconium? Oh well. Is that like, I thought zirconium used to be like inexpensive diamond rings that weren't diamond. Zirconia? Maybe it was zirconia. Zirconium, it's an element. They use it in furnaces and reactors. It is so inert and able to handle high heat, etc. It's also extremely dense and heavy, making this like 6 or 7 ounces, I think, maybe more. You have to check my reviews on these. They have all been reviewed by an independent review laboratory. No. 9 1/4 and 4 1/4 inch blade. M390, of course. Top of the line materials, titanium frame with those zirconium overlays. It's just really a class act, and they polish out that zirconium nicely and put a lot of detail into it. And oh boy, does it drop so smoothly. Cool looking pocket clip. Cool jimping on the backspacer. Flipper. So if you didn't like the pterosaur because it's thumb studs, you got a flipper with the Corvus III. Going into more of slightly less expensive knives by Maxace. Here is the Goliath II, but it is the Goliath II. Maybe it's just the Goliath Bowie. I don't know if they designate this Goliath II. I know the regular drop point I have is a Goliath II, but this is the Goliath Bowie. Came out in 2022. New blade shape, flipper tab, K110 on this one. And I have heard things about K110 actually being a bit better than D2, so I don't think we can rightfully just call it, another name for D2. It is a bowler steel. They say it is a little bit more stain resistant and a little tougher and a little better edge holding, but you can look that up for yourself. There's a lot of sources to learn more about the differences between K110 and D2. Got a titanium bolster. Got black G10 on this one. Very nice G10. Got 3 standoffs there, barrel spacers. Otherwise, it's wide open. It is a liner lock. And they got that funky clip that they like to use on this series of knives. You can pick one of these up for about 120 bucks, I think. And did you ever see a knife that's as drop shut as that? Look at that. Huh, crazy. And it's a heavy one. No doubt about that. It is a heavy knife. They did some milling, but it's still a big old honking knife, and it's coming in at almost 4.5 inches blade length. So you may or may not be able to carry it in your jurisdiction, but hopefully you can at least collect it. Here's the Zealot. I think the Zealot's another remake of a past knife, or I could be wrong. It may very well be new in 2022. It didn't exactly excite folks. I didn't get a lot of hits on the review, and I know that Justin up at White Mountain hasn't sold a whole lot of them. I think they're still out there. This one's in a blue-gray G10, nicely sculpted. Got that sculpting in there too. That part is either steel. Yeah, that's steel, not titanium for the money. These are only coming in at around, I think, 60 bucks, 65 bucks, something like that. So again, it's the Zealot, and it also is in K110. It's a comfortable knife. It's fairly thin in profile. In fact, quite comfortable in the hand. Very ergonomic. And it does have a longer blade, just shy of 4 inches, and overall 8 3/4. So amongst Maxace knives, it's like a midget. Nice utility style blade though, spear point sort of drop point. Nice finish on it. Might be one that you want to get a hold of if you're looking for a large utility knife. Then we're moving on to the Kestrel. Now the Kestrel comes in a couple different price levels. This one's sort of nicely in the middle. I think it came in around $100.50 maybe, but it is M390 for $100.50. Titanium clip, and interestingly enough, a steel lock bar, and solid G10 swirled G-Mascus sort of. I don't think G-Mascus is Hogue though, they use that name, but it is a swirl style G10 with white, red, blue. Very patriotic. Red, white, and blue with a little black thrown in there. It's got the flame anodizing on the top of the knife. It's interesting hybrid. Top of the knife is titanium. Clip is titanium. Lock bar is steel, so they don't need to use a steel insert. It's a front flipper, which opens pretty well for me, and it's a beautiful reverse curve, M390 blade. Really nicely ground. If you like those reverse curve blades, You will really love this one. Real pronounced sharpening choil there. And there's a lanyard provision at the very end that's sort of tied in, which is also titanium. So interesting blend of titanium, steel, and G10 on this one. Good sized blade still. I think it's around 3 3/4. Yep. And it is overall 8.5. So good sized knife, just not giant like some of the other ones. And the Kestrel comes in, I think they got a low end Kestrel as well as maybe a higher end Kestrel. But here's a great deal. I think this comes in around 130 if I'm not mistaken. This is the balance, and the balance, there is a K version. There is the balance that is a full titanium M390 version. And there is this in the middle M390, Bowler M390, stonewash blade, gray G10 handle slabs on this one. Yep, steel frame. So we're doing it again, steel backspacer, but a beautiful M390 blade, and it comes in a K version too for about $55. That one which I had went out to the Knife Junkie and went out for giveaway for, I believe, Gentleman Junkie. So Bob really loved that knife. I think he'd loved this one even more. Got these interesting teardrop pivot surrounds. Incorporated lanyard slot there into the backspacer. And again, that interesting hybrid. Going to be a steel clip there. I don't think there's any titanium on this knife. Yeah, this one's all steel. So steel liners, M390 blade. That's how they're able to do it. No titanium in the knife. Great functional utility profile on that blade. Real high grind and quite sharp, thin edge. You can feel that. Got a little scrap of paper over here. I'll risk it if I can reach it. Here we go. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's a laser. So definitely, if you are looking for high grind, fine edge, slicey knife, check out the balance, either K or M. Either one can fit your budget. Hope you enjoyed this review. Don't forget to give it a like and subscribe. I'll be back soon.